Everything I like to talk about, product drops are definitely my favorite game. As I get started, let me introduce who I am. My name is Ray Johnston. I'm the ambassador of Jesus Christ, the man of valor, integrity, and accountability. And after all that, I am also a marketer during the day. Now, this product drop playbook has on 22 $1 million drops. What I mean by that is I'm talking $1 million in a day, $1 million in a week, or $1 million over the course of a month, all from the back of a product drop. That means I've been around the block a few times. And the great part about rooms like this is you guys are bougies. You guys don't like do things, you already know how to launch products, but I made you a promise. The promise is if you follow these principles with 100% certainty, you will make more money for extra because it has never failed. Every time I teach this to our registered group or the brands that we work with, if they do these steps, they make the highest amount of revenue they never make in a profit job. That is my promise. It has never failed once. So just some context, you guys obviously know who we are. We are the marketing arm behind some of the biggest brands in the world. My favorite thing to do is to do new drops and new campaigns because that is what excites me. To be able to Blaya, maybe you see my business partner, D-Dick. He's called the H Division. He has been on some of the biggest stages. We have also been on the world's most exclusive national lines. And product drops are our freaking gems. The product drop formula is very simple. You guys were doing some of this, but I can tell you there are things in this you have never seen before and you are not getting. So this preface talk about successful product drop. You have the ramp up, you have the T-shift effect, and then you have the launch. Now, just for some context, I have worked with over 300 brands over the last 8 years. We have over 50 brands in our mentorship group. I've seen a lot of crazy things. Now, in the ramp-up phase, you're going to make all the money you're ever going to make from a product drop from before you ever launch the product. Everything else after that is you're essentially just going along for the ride. So I tell brands, you cannot skip this step because if you want to make the most amount of money, it always comes from the pre-work. It's called work because it works. Now, just some context, when a lot of brands will launch your product, for either kind of two sets of buy. Either number one, they are, okay, let's just see how it goes. Let's just kind of wing it and kind of hope and pray. Or hopefully you're making a legit campaign out of it. And in my mind, these are the big differences. You have on one side, let's see how it goes. On the other side, you have, okay, here's exactly how much revenue we're going to make with this drop. Here's exactly how much contribution profitability for this drop. Here's how much new and returning revenue we're going to make as well. That is the difference. Because in these steps I'm going to teach you, it all comes from here. Now, some brands that we have worked with, they're like, hey, I don't want to go through a score. Let's just see how it looks. Cool, your brand, your rules, you. Other brands that come to us, they come to us just like, hey, dude, I want to make $1 million in 24 hours. That's a totally different mentality. That's like alpha lion mentality. So you have to approach it. I'm teaching you guys how to have that alpha lion mentality. So what are the steps? Very simple. This gives you a very tactical walkthrough exactly things that repeat. You guys are OGs. You guys know how meta ads and Google ads and attention. There's a lot of cool strategies you get into it that afterwards. These are the steps my team go through and how it is. So number one, we set targets and forecasts. Pretty simple, but not quite like this. Who here, showbiz, has ever heard of the forecasting layers or the forecasting case work? That's when I heard that concept. Two people, all right, okay. So every time that we have forecasts for a brand, in my humble opinion, we have to look at three different levels. You have to look at own audiences, which are your customers, own audiences, which are not customers, and your pay to play. Because each one of those behave differently. Each one of those have different volatilities. And some of those you have to pay to play, some of you don't. So for example, pay to play, very simple. Those are your Betas, your Googles, your TikToks, your influencers, your Pinterest or Snapchat ads, right? You pay to play. It makes sense. Own audiences, not customers. Those are like people like this or Bruce who are there, but they have to buy it. So it's organic. I can't wait that Chris is talking after you because he is like the person to talk to around these audiences. Then you have own audiences who are your customers. They have bought for you already. And you can hit them up via email, push, or thread. So the guys that post pod where they are, those are the guys that talk to you about brand. Now, why we do? Because remember, we're trying to date a lot of one in a short period of time, and we want to be common. I am a control freak. I do not like losing. I like to control every freaking possible scenario. So to do that, you must forecast in these different layers. Because here's a kicker. At the bottom part of the foundation, you have a higher conversion rate. That's why I can send an email and we can have 50% conversion rate. That's the cost, but also cheaper. So if your goal for product drop is I don't want to do a cash per app and make as much profit as possible, your brand, your rules, do what you want, you need to focus on different layers of what you can rely on. Also volatility. We've had the media talk about it, and also brand, for example, who here really wants to rely on all their revenue coming from men? I sure that act like, right? And also, but the con is that you get more scale to higher. So let's bring this full circle. So what we do for our brands is we're working always off an 18-month assumption model. This sounds really fancy. Literally, it has ChatGPT to make these scripts for you in full sheets. Like, don't overthink it. But for example, we have a brand coming up in October. They have a really big launch. It's $1 million in October. So what we're doing, we'll look at where we're at today, and we're forecasting where we think we're going to end up in October to hit their target. Now, how do we do that? I'm so happy Smee Chris talk about cohorts because in my head looking at cohorts break the best thing to forecast. Because what a cohort is, does everybody know what a cohort is, by the way? They're on Shopify shit. Okay, floss. A cohort essentially is a data set of new customers in a repeat buying. The cool thing about history is it tends to repeat itself. So you take those repeat buying patterns, project it in the future, and it's going to tell you exactly where they end up, assuming everything holds constant. So that is the foundation. Now, let's bring this full circle. This is a real brain. Am I talking to Gus Todd again? No, boss. This is a real brain. Okay, real brain, real debt. So, for example, I had a problem with this brain. We're supposed to make $1 million, and the forecast is telling me all that money's got to come from pay to play. That's pretty freaking scary. Sure, I could probably spend the money, but how confident am I that Meta's been canning up to it? A month before Black Friday, I'm not very confident. So what do we do? And this is one of the parts no one ever talks on. So what we do when we're projecting the future, we see a shortfall of returning customer revenue, and we need to hit target. Like, okay, we've got 2 months to turn this ship around. So, and by the way, this is a sidebar. When we're doing a product launch, bring us people in breast, my recommendation is planned 3 months in advance at a minimum for that launch to do these right steps. So, what we do, we launch an irresistible acquisition offer for the sole purpose for that product. So it's very simple. You take one product or one product buy, work with the founders, say, do you want to launch irresistible acquisition offer where the sole job is to fatten the returning customer coffers. That's it. Because remember, going up real quick, our goal is we want a bigger base, has less volatility, has a higher conversion rate. We're going to make way more profit from that bottom base we build the top base. The pay to play. So we always secure supply position. Now, think we go read numbers. What's happening? The numbers are going up as being closer to July, which is where you see that they spike from that product bunch. Because we knew when we forecasted you have a massive shortfall. If you do nothing, we're not going to hit target. Listen, I used to be on the brand side for 200 New Year copper spread in the whole space. I know we're correct. My bank is on the line if I don't hit targets. So let's fast forward. Exact same rate. On July 18th, they launched a new product. We had 9,000 returning customers, 15,000 new customers. The crazy part is over a third, so nearly 4,000 customers, returning customers who bought during that product launch were from the irresistible acquisition offer we ranked for the 2 or 3 months leading up to it. That would not seem like a lot. But for this brand, their AOV, that was maybe $400,000. And that had not happened, we would not have hit target. That is why we're forecasting, we're always starting with a base or a product launch. In the future, how many returning customers can I rely on when I launch this product? Make sense? You guys follow me so far? You guys act like you can do this yourself now? Okay, great. So, number 3, do the labor and do the right job. This is the part that if people discount the most, because these must not work. But in my humble opinion, I think it's where you get the most gold from. So very simple, you guys can copy and paste this, but see the other words like you, the template. We do a right job. Very simple. Is we're coming up with the product launch. We look at every product launch they've done in the previous 6 to 9 months. We look at what's the best creative, the best SPUs, what SPUs are giving the most net profit, what's the best angles, the best Google email strategy, whatever. When we document the good and the bad, because when you do this, you get to see the things. Graph live item the exact same thing the last few launches, and it didn't work because a lot of us don't stop and actually do a lecture. Or, hey, that worked close trade last time. Well, let's double up and do it again. That is why every time you use words, I've seen the benefit of hindsight. That guy, it builds moment. Many of our brands end up doing $1 million in a launch in a week, right? And hey, they didn't just wake up when it happened. It was the momentum we built from launch. The next launch, we just kept building for the exact same thing. Stable report. This is one of the most important parts of this entire phase. Let me ask you, who here has ever launched a product and it didn't go out? Every hand better be friggin' up right now. That sucks. And the worst part about that is they can derail your business for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months plus. You have too much cash wrapped up in inventory, all right? So we built a system. It's very simple. Most people don't think about it is how can you be 100% confident before you ever launch your product, it's going to go out? Because what if I told you, hey, you're 2 months, you're going to launch a product. It's going to go really much. What would you hear? You're like, I'm going to buy more inventory. If you can do it, I'm going to try to find more cash to spend more on that. You can do that. First, every time you do product launch, always test before you invest. Every freaking time. There's many ways you could do it. And Chris is a really great example that and I chat about. But very simply is, here's one of the different methods you could do it. Is you can send an email to a sub-segment of your email list, typically your customers. You could even put a product on pre-order. You're not trying to get money. You're just trying to see who is willing to take out their credit card and buy these products. And then you compare it to other launches or emails to that list. Was the conversion rate higher? Did it have a higher click rate? We've had brands before where they just did a reply campaign. They know how often people tend to reply from their emails. That is still a good litmus test of who's interested. And we'll see how many more replies they get from this one to the previous. You can do focus groups. We got grants, get on Zoom calls with their customers. Chris Ledger's dad talk next, man, like you do what he's about to do. Like, that's an easy way for you to have a litmus test of this drop is in a freaking crush. Because when we do this, and it does not look good, we have time to pivot. I've never been in a situation where I launch a product and all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap, like money's not coming in. Let's discount, send more emails, send more SMS. You will be in that spot. Buy yourself time to pivot and just lift the distraction and do with that. All right, my favorite part, the t-shirt effect. All right, I am not traditionally a script, but a game recognizes game, and that shit knows how to launch stuff. Can we agree with that? There's a reason why she made $1 billion from her hair store. Yes, she is talented, but she got a certain amount of marketing prowess, or her team does. They know how to make a lot of money. So the t-shirt effect, besides the ramp up and now this stage, are the most important parts. All the money that's ever been made is going to be here. So the funnel is very simple. You guys are already doing parts of this book because I know many of your guys' brands, but you guys aren't doing it to this level. So we're going to walk through the funnel. Then we're going to talk about the psychology behind it. Very simple. The funnel is simple. You have a promote, then you tease, then you have people opt into a link, which you guys are doing. Then you get their email address, phone number, have them add it to their calendars because it's another free money way to make sure you get a notification to their phone. And then if you have a group or a chat group with your customers, you have to join so you can communicate very easily to it. And then as it gets closer to the event, you do what I call just a dopamine study. Real quick, but give you guys here, right? Let's say, for example, hypothetically, next week, all of you guys, you have a party. Not just one party. You have 3 parties you get invited to, and you can't bro all, right? And so let's say you can't decide, so you say, I'm just going to wait until it's closer to decide. In 2 days, you get a text from your friend Sarah. She's like, hey, I'm never still signing for my party. By the way, my cousin, he just told me that he's going to do a free cappuccino bar in the back, so free lattes and cappuccinos for him. Hope you can make it. And then in 2 days again, you get another text from Sarah. She's like, oh, by the way, I didn't know this was going to happen, but my friend, she owns a spa, and she's going to do a wrap. Anyone who comes to that party is going to get $300 a value spa package. That's nails, kind of here and massage. Can't wait to see you. Then in 2 more days, get another text from Sarah. She's like, oh, and also my brother, he's like coming in this band, and they're gonna have live music in the backyard. Can't wait to see it. Who is not gonna freaking go to that party now, right? That is the difference between launching your product, be like, here's a countdown timer, buy by crap, versus make a list so people cannot say no. So very simple. We'll run ads, emails, organic, use quiet mistake to tease and promote it. Then it just part. A lot of you guys call your landing page your list the IP list. We just kill that forever. Stop calling it the IP list because everyone calls it that and it loses all meaning and all value. Instead, use some, I wish Dave was here, marketing prowess, use some copyright, call it something unique. We've had brands call it the Fit Moms list because they sold supplements to women. We had a ghetto urban brand call it the Side Chick list. That was just, they knew their audience, okay? Call it something unique that identifies to who they are. And then as it gets closer, create areas that add perceived value. I'm so happy that that's been talked about already because value is not what you pay for something. It is the value that you create in their minds that creates a gap between what you pay and what they perceive the value is. So my personal favorite is to do surprise and delights. You don't have to do that, but I like the feeling of random acts of surprising that list because it feels quite genuine. But the point of doing those is I'm trying to live a battle in their mind because you're fighting for their attention, their kids' birthdays, their husband may be mad at them, their friend is having cancer, for example. If you win the battle in their mind, you get their money. And there's a lot of different ways you could do this. You have brands that they will do a surprise giveaway. Again, for people in that list, you have brands that will show the perceived value by showing, here's all the effort I went into to make this thing. Or talk about how much money you spent in the R&D of that product. Or talk about, hey, I've been R&Ding this for 12 months. These are all things that in their mind, and they like that, man, this is a killer deal, too high, a $300 watch, like what Nate talked about today, because it's 100 years in the making. Does that make sense? Use copyrighted and marketing prowess at a bigger perceived value. Guess the last 5 years, every brand has done a product launch with, I go and you do a report on how well did this perform. 22% is the average. That's the middle case. Who here is not going to make or try to make that list as huge as freakingly possible when if you do these surprise and the likes, a 22% conversion rate? And anyone says no to me, because that is free freaking money. All right, step number 6. Have some marketing salesmanship. Use persuasion triggers. So persuasion trigger, or call a psychological trigger, is a thing that creates an emotional response that then gets people to act. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to go through because we're on a time crunch. But let me just give you a real example. Let's say, for example, you get an email from a brand or a video because you're on a list. And instead of saying, here, buy my crap, here's a countdown timer. Instead, the founders, she says, oh my gosh, I need to get made mistake, guys. Like, I only have 1,000 of these products, but 2,000 of you guys have signed up. Dude, you better not wait because this can be gone really fast. How much more meaning does that create in that product launch? An emotional tribe, like, I better add this in the calendar. I better wait on my laptop at 11:59 p.m. to buy this product. That is what this does. All right, last phase. The launch. At this point, you're kind of along for the ride. You get to influence it with ad spend, some more emails and SMS, but that is going to be marginal compared to all the work that you did previously. So step number 7. Everything must be the marketing calendar. I used to not be a big advocate of this, but I've been proven well. Show me your marketing calendar and I can predict shipping from. It blows my mind. I'll be 8 GB talk week where I'm like, all right, pulled your morning calendar and it's like, there's nothing there. Or it's very sporadic. Like, that is a nice situation because an organized team that has a commit will always outperform a team that's using chaos or blind metacebo. So what we like to do is we have 3 weeks. You have the year view for product launch that shows all the different launches. But then also, you can see the numbers up here. We also have layered over top of it, what is the percentage of revenue anticipated to fall on that month? So we can make different decisions. So if we're in June's coming up, we say, oh man, June's anticipated to be a really low revenue month. either get two choices. Let's do more, try to get better, or let's ride the wave, kind of ride it out and wait till it gets good. And then we have the model view where every channel is accounted for, especially for a product launch. Because if it's a legit product launch, you have VMLs, SMS, organic, you order content creators, collaborators. Like, you need to be organized in these things. There's been too many launches that I see where they didn't have these things and email didn't go out time or the wrong time, or a content creator didn't post on time. Like, you want to make sure everything fires up when you plan to. The rate, now is the fun part. Run the surprise lights. That's why we'll send emails, we'll send that to SMS, we'll post about it. Because at this point, we're just trying to peanut ride. We're trying to create more peace. That's such burden. So most launches or in big sale campaigns, when you first launch, it's great, it's awesome, we're making so much money. The next day, you're like, oh, it's okay. And then after that, it's kind of like bad odds. So what we're trying to create more peace. That is the perfect time to watch the surprise delights. So pretend this is still real prey. And out of curiosity, I'm curious. Let's test all the markers. Which of those are better? Who's brave enough to ask? These are emails, and our sole job of doing these is to create attention that gets converted into sales after you launch your product. Who wants to take us out? Yes, sir. Number two. Who else?
I don't know, they follow numbers.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, so if it was number two, then number three, then number one. Well, let me ask you a question. Number 2 and 3 outperform number 1 or each for 30% off discount, but over 200%. This thinking they'll get to give away bargain is absurd because it's all about the perception of value, not the actual money that you were giving people off. That is why even a dude has $4. When you do the cogs on a cami and a belt like that, it's headies. It's a few dollars compared to $100 Like, get smart, save your margin for please, for the love of everything that's good and true. Don't discount. Get wiser, more strategic with what you want. And this is a little thing, but guess what? When we did this, it spiked attention. Yet even people who weren't able to take advantage of the offer, it got them to come back, and they still bought anyways, right? That's the point. Do what we do. Number 2 is when we're going to put a big font like this, we make a lot of dash free. I had noticed something for the last so many years that, especially when you write ads and emails, everything looks the same. You have like this down creating effect, the performance going down, down, down. So what we do is we make creative radically different, and I see it in data and my own personal experience running the accounts. I have seen a spike in proposals because what's human behavior? Human behavior is when I've seen something I've already seen before, right? I scroll past it faster. So my brain's like, I already seeing that, just keep moving. So you want to like work a little harder and fight every second that you have and make something drastically different. So we follow a very simple system. Is every 2 days, you kill the bot at 80%, create whole new batch. Kill the bot at 80, whole new batch. So at every time we're doing this, we're only keeping the best. But each time we do this, the creative is radically different. So that's the point. You want to be very, very different. So sometimes you may have to throw your brand book out the windows to get a day, let that aside. Hammer white list. Please, guys, this is like one of the easiest things you can do in make me. Everyone should be whitelist. Ever. Who cares? Brave not to say you're not doing that. Thanks for the honesty. Please do it. Please do it tomorrow. So throughout this entire process, we are whitelisting. In the teasing phase, we're whitelisting. In the launching phase, we're whitelisting. Even when we're doing surprising the lights, we're whitelisting. We're also doing a collab launch for whitelisting. It's such easy money. It doesn't have to be a content creator that you have contract with. Screw that. Make it easy. It can be anyone on your team. It can be you. It can be your founder. We have a lot of our brands, like the girls, like the social media chick. She always whitelists for us. Like, it can be anyone. But the conversion rate difference is so much. Some of our best accounts right now, the best ads, aren't even the brand's name. It's a whitelist. And sometimes we even make it up. So use this cheater advantage. All right, number 12. Track your progress. Now, we do both a micro and a micro track. Now, at a minimum, all you guys should have a macro tracking. And I say this because most people are just like, triple whale. Triple whale is good, but it doesn't really. I have a love-hate relationship with triple whale. It's good, but it doesn't give you the level of data, in my opinion, to make the right decisions. It gives you an overview out of life. But then we also do macro. So the macro is very simple, and it's all kind of ties that together because we forecast on new customer revenue, we set targets on turning customer revenue, and then we show the actual. So this is our tracker. I've mirrored the as a template where we are tracking the most important metrics, makes the most important decision. And as it's closer to a launch, we're saying, how are we training for the lumbar rate? If we're training good, because we see all the data, we see the contribution profit, let's spend more. But if things are tracking good, we can make a decision. Okay, we're going to keep pushing, or we're going to wait until we've launched, recruit some of the contribution profit, and can push again. And then on the micro, which is only reserved the people that want to be insanely aggressive, we would about the 2-hour track, where every 2 hours we're tracking spend, performance, new customer revenue, contribution profit. Doing those things allows you to make decisions and staying quickly versus like, I'm going to go Shopify. I'm going to go to my ad account or my email account. We're really the email CCing of the app. So for the brands that come to us and say, if we want to do $1 million in 24 hours, we have to win out on these two because we need both the macro and the micro to make the right decisions. And if you follow these 12 steps, I promise you, you're going to make so much more money on your next product launch. It has never failed because every brand we've ever done this with and done a lot of it, you're always missing these core steps. But these details, as they say, the devil's are in the details. This makes all the freaking difference. So if you want to connect with me, I'm very active on X, very active on Instagram. If you guys want to get on a call at Jam, scan a QR code. I had nothing to sell you except to convince you to freaking do this. Because every time I do, a brand emails me back, like, but you're so right. Thank you so much, but that makes so much. That's my plan of vision. Thank you, but
Be really into it.
for whitelisting, I think there's like a few different methods. There's 3 methods. Yes. Yeah. And it'd be like the safest. What's like, so what should be safe? That's plus. Was like then it's 60. Yeah, like maybe like it is 60. Is that what you said? No, that's I thought. The least number of consequences from a social platform and the algorithm. Okay, John, no consequences. So what's your definition? There's no consequences. Zero consequences. Like there's literally no downside side to what I was saying.
I don't know. So I read some stuff online and stuff here, and then be some consequences for the brand for allowing it.
Okay, anyone who says that, they know my butt.
Just to go on what you're saying, like to one bit that we did read is a good point, but there's so much adaptation there, like I do today is warm it up.
Yes, I do. So yes, so yeah, have some contact wise. Yeah, I do. So if that's what you meant, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you're gonna create a account, you'd ask a content or use an app and feel like a legit person at page. So you don't like yes, then fall day.
So, each brand that you were tracking just to have like seasonal launches, so you could kind of build up like quarterly or every 6 weeks. We kind of much faster data launch, maybe 2, okay, 3 times a month, like cycle collection.
Yes.
How do you apply that when you have a pass?
Great question. So step back question he said is how do you apply this to brands that their model is to do a drop model? So we have a lot of brands like that, and we'll do a drop once a month typically. So when Ray comes to us, my personal opinion is I try to get into that way because I can prove it. I'd much rather make a bigger deal at a monthly launch than every 2 weeks. But if they don't want to do it, that's fine. So what we do is like we will peel back maybe some of the surprise and the lights, for example, and instead look at the entire year. What's a much bigger loss? We would make a really big push and deal out of it. And so we'll roll out the red carpet for those. But this playbook, we run the exact same playbook for product drops. Friday, a lot of different areas because it's marketing fundamentals. It's gonna work for freaking everything. And so I mean,
So somebody is launching every QCK, you know, they're trying to do all that over.
Right. So even for the brands like that, we still do this. We still tease it. We will pick and choose. Let's surprise the lights we're gonna do. Still follow the same playbook. We won't put as much effort to all the surprise and buys. That's mostly effort. It's coming up with additional what are the like to hype builders we're gonna do. That's most effort. Yeah. Just to add to this, because I was thinking about it before, for my brand, you would drop every Friday for 2 weeks a year. So I'll do, in the course of an entire year, we'll do anywhere between 10 and 15 million days. We do quarterly. We have a gift box we make. So the reason why we went to the gift box is we put $75 of value. For me, I can generate that box for anywhere between $7 and $12, right, all in. So I can then say it's a $75 value. Essentially, I'm going to come out of pocket, call it $10. So it's a win for my customer because it's a $75 value for them. They love my brand. Here's this really great thing. It's products I don't sell, so I can product test. I can put in some things that I might want to drip out, try in the future. And lastly, like you said, I don't have to discount paper, right? So because I don't have to discount, because I always have this thing that adds value, there's a win there. But so what he's saying, we still drip out products. So we'll usually drip out the product first sample in content. We do a lot for organic content, but we'll put it in organic content anywhere between 90 and 120 days per drop. So that it's in stuff and people are seeing it and asking like, what's that wind reservoir? What's that bag? What's that thing? So we do that all the time. Then on top of that, we're sending out to lists. We have private Facebook groups. We have Discord groups. We have all these different things. We just know which audience it's going to. So in our drop schedule, we try to create a cadence of which group it's going to. So I can run it every week, but functionally I'm dropping something for a different client avatar in all those moments. That allows me to reach out to a different influencer, different things, different stuff. And the marketing doesn't have to only live through me. It lives through me going out. It's the community, finding places that you can go. So there's a way for you to do it, obviously. If you're doing crops more consistently, it just takes a little bit of planning and flywheel of how do I do this whole time.
I had did a litmus test. How you determine if a product is to go or something like that.
A few different things. One, we have a fashion week every month. So fashion week, we look 90 to 120 days out of the clothing that we're going to be dropping. Marketing team then goes go-to-market strategy, and we kind of dictate how many units we're going to buy, how many units in a collection, how many things. Then we can say if the average units per order is 3.3, 3.5 to a VIP list, right? I can start to take projection of based off the units. Is it going to be more than the 3.5 average, below the 3.5 average? So we can go in right away and know, okay, our audience, we think it's this. But then also inside, we have those 5 avatars have different success metrics, right? If I'm dropping the thing I'm known for, the thing my company's known for, these ice cream shorts, right? If you have a kid or you see a kid, they're wearing these these can't live in ice cream shorts, right? So that product, if I drop any products at that avatar, I'm gonna and it's a large collection, I'm gonna do 7 figures in. If I drop to my older demographic, which is like professional athletes who are like want to wear represent, I have some oversized clothing, I have some designs, smaller market, right? My anticipation for a great day for something to then is that the units sold, I sell through anywhere between 15 and 20% of my inventory on hand in the first day, and I sell it through about 25% over the weekends. And that I can tell if product's going to do well based off when we seed it in those organic pieces of content, how many people share it and save it on Instagram. And then you can also, as you get closer and closer, you start to know if there's even extra heat. You can place reorders and you do some things earlier. If you put the product out and all of a sudden you have a huge amount of people interacting with it, engaging with it, sending, you can track those metrics behind the scenes.
What a static. That's awesome. Do that around a cloud.
For people who want to do a drop model more consistently,
It's actually awesome. So can I go back to that kick that you're saying?
yes.
You're teasing way more than bands, so you can have the comments.
Yeah. So our Facebook group, like we drop products in it, we'll say, hey, here's a teaser. What do you guys think? So we have a group of 6,000-ish moms, and they all come from our VIP list. So everyone in the group, their average order value is over $300. And most of them order every week or bi-weekly. So I know that these people, like my whales, I know what they're going to do and I know where they're at. So I can give them this kind of line of sight. I can see in comments, subtract number of comments, number of saves. We then have our customer service team. They actually pull out any emails things. So we have one member of our team. Again, I'm a much bigger company now. I knew not everybody can do all these things. One of my CX people is a white glove service. So she has people who can go directly to her, not through just the general channel. If she starts getting messages about when's the product coming, what do we think pricing is, she can track that. And then she relays that for the buy team. And then the last thing that we can do is we put in our pitch decks of wholesale. So if I see that the wholesale buyers, everybody else, have a great affinity toward the certain collection, that also is feed forward mechanism of it's most likely going to get supported by their marketing. So if you go in Dick's Sporting Goods ad library right now, they're running ads for me. and it's me, Adidas, Nike, things like that. So like I know I'm crushing whether they give me the data or not. So based off of what they're buying into, I know what they're planning to spend into, so I can then double dip, and I know I have the support of a retailer. It's that bug up. Because I think it's a good point to what I talked about. How much would you attribute your success with your launches to doing that for testament? Voucher check. So the number one thing we always did was get things away free, right? Like we grew our Instagram account. Instagram's now over 800,000 followers on the IG. It was built because we gave product away, right? We were the original person who said like, follow, and comment, right? That's not a joke. Our 2015, we were the first person to say like, comment, follow, but to get these Adidas pair of plates. And we got $10 from Adidas for a social media post, right? Like ever since that day, we were like, how do we give more things? And then we just kept going. We've tested free shipping. Free shipping is a better offer than giving away a discount code, right? People have gotten so washed out by discount codes. And especially if you're trying to make your brand an affinity brand that people need to have, they want to have, you have to think about other ways that you're inspiring the action, right? So that they think they're buying more, right? So that gift box I was saying for it, somebody has to spend $175 to get it. And if you guys go on eBay right now, I bet you're some for sale for anywhere between $75 and $125. So let's go. Mind drop that, damn. That's awesome. He's got a question for you. It's nothing.
Who's this?
Yeah, so the skincare brands like Habitat Group and like corporate Sajupix, typically it can be like a companion product that works well. So for example, I was talking to these guys, Bela Brick, they towel and a wish group, but they also have like other products about, and they're like a lip balm. Easy lip call, but easy thing to add about like towel, lip balm, like a towel cream. That works really well. So with egg products, also is doing like Steve works like buy two get one free system that they work with. I don't like doing price or fixed dollar or price discounts. It doesn't book as well. I'm gonna try the great product. I've got you rather the store critics. And figures to beat that ticket, boss work. I'll take that very show you before. That's beef. So yes. And you're just looking great. I mean, here's the thing, like any other product like Fash was amazing. Was on the Air Slide position offer. What people don't understand is you look at the how the number shit down, like, oh man, it's not that profitable. If you have many different variants, people will buy 2, 3, or 4 sets. It's wildly profitable. So you know what excuse you have, but it should actually be insane. So variants that couldn't. Last question.
So using ton of bog launcher, in your opinions, if a bog launcher was let's say like top 1,000, what would have done if he did use sachets, and how much more do you change from being tablets?
Great. So you say if you don't use tactics, how much more upside do you get for? It's like let's see the product. So it depends on a few things. It all depends on how good of a sales machine you give you. Because listen, guys, you heard from coffee makes a big tricky difference. The other thing she was like, my hello page, the surprise in the lights. It doesn't have to be something near it. It can be your R&D process. It can be a store. Like those are essentially things that add perceived value. So it's how about you can do those, be honest with you. But because I really great examples, because brands that they did 130,000 from a launch typically do over 300K. So like more than double for it. But again, like Disney had Top Rich Story, they did full night box Playbook. I'm telling you, and I do not say this to be facetious, this has never outproduced any other brand. If he probably says, it has never not beaten any other watch ever. Now, when you're like him, this is like becoming your status quo. Cool, like you're going to probably pick these numbers. Like if you're not doing this stuff, this will crush anything or no. It might be based on mine 20 brands.
Like a different type of drop, more like a product launch. Think of like Gen 2 of like a gadget, and they're thinking about launcher, Kickstarter, Gen 2. Does your playbook transfer at all that type of?
So we have type brands. My boy may answer our question. I would say you better freaking test before doing best. Because gadgets, if it's not a significantly improvement or significant what we call boom mechanism, I would be extremely cautious. Like, just like a new color, fan that. If it's like faster, whatever, forget that. That's like something they care about. So just really test before you best. Like that is like number one golden rule, especially for 10. So, yeah. Well, awesome. Big guy about it up.